If you want to see how I took our garage from this to this, then keep watching. Hey guys, welcome to this week's video. Thank you so much for clicking on it. Now I am super excited for this video. This is the first part in a two-part series on how I made over and organized the garage in our new rental down here in Georgia. Now this whole project came about because when we moved down here, we knew that we were moving into a smaller house and a lot of the spaces in our house have to be multifunctional. You saw that in one of my other videos. Our front room, which is supposed to be the dining room, we're using as a playroom and an office, and it's sort of multifunctional. And we used to have a workout space in the basement and the workshop in the garage, and we don't have the separate basement down here. We only have a garage. It is a two-car garage, but it does need to be a multifunctional space. We plan on putting Adam's workout space on the right side of the garage, and we were hoping to maybe set up some sort of a workshop space on the left side of the garage. Now, since moving down here, it's been a little chaotic, and we basically just dumped everything into the garage out of the pod. Everything came out of the pod, went into the garage, and that's kind of where it's been sitting for a few months. Every time we try to find something, I mean, even as simple as just a screwdriver or a tape measure, it is extremely frustrating. So one day while I was trying to figure out what the heck we're gonna do in this garage, and I was scrolling on my phone, and of course an advertisement popped up for new age steel wall-mounted shelves, organizational shelves. And I will go into those a lot more detail in this video and definitely in video number 2, but it definitely got me thinking about how we could really utilize the space, because it is a very small space, but we have a lot of stuff that has to go into it. So I started thinking about a layout and different organizations, and I got really excited about it. The other fun thing about this project is that this is actually a total surprise for my husband. Now, he knows that I'm doing it. He did not believe me that everything would fit into the space. He just was very overwhelmed by it and frustrated and didn't even want to give it any thought. I knew better. I knew that I could work in a small space and get it organized really, really well. So I asked him if I could set up and organize the garage as a gift to him. But the deal was that he could not see what I was doing. He could tell me if he needed something specific, like he needed an area to park his motorcycle and he wanted to have like a workbench space. I knew all of that, but he was not allowed to have any say in how I set it up, how I organized it, what I brought into the space. All of that was a total surprise, and that was a challenge for him. So I sat down, I knew that I wanted to do these specific wall shelves, and I made a list of everything we need. I took measurements of the entire space, and over the next few months, planned the whole thing. And the actual installation of everything took place over 3 specific days, a Thursday, a Friday, and a Saturday. I had to pick a weekend when I can get Adam out of the house with our daughter so that I could really focus on everything I needed. And really having all of that planning time really helped me find all of the perfect organizational pieces. And since I had some time to shop around a little bit, I got some fantastic deals on stuff. I will explain that in the videos as I go forward, but let me show you what our garage looks like now. So as you can see, it is a complete disaster. You can't really move. You can see that my husband already started setting up some of his exercise equipment on the right side of the garage, but it is a huge challenge for him to really use that space properly because this whole garage is just collecting junk everywhere. So we need to get it cleaned up. So on day 1, I got started by really just clearing out as much junk and trash and cardboard and stuff as I needed. We actually cleared out all of the landscaping tools out of the garage the day before. Last night, I went to Home Depot and picked up the new Husky Workbench that I purchased that he does not know about. That was not fun getting that out of this truck by myself. For some reason, I thought it came in multiple pieces. No, it comes fully assembled and it is very heavy. Unfortunately, it rained this day, so I was not able to open up the garage doors and bring anything out into the driveway, which really would have helped me, but I'm trying to work within the space that I have. My biggest goal for day one is to clear up as much as I can and move things into their new layout. I really needed to test the new layout that I had planned for the space because that's everything. Working with such a confined, limited space, the layout is crucial. And if the layout I had planned in my head wasn't going to work, I was going to need some time to sort of rethink things. Now, I had done a ton of measuring and remeasuring and planning out on my computer and different things, but you never know until you walk into the actual space if it was going to work. First thing is moving this cobalt tool chest into its proper location. Now this does have wheels, but I was having an issue with the wheel locks and I was really challenged. I only had to move this thing like a foot or two, but it was really difficult. So I was excited to get it into place. And then I also purchased wheels for that Husky workbench that I had mentioned, and I wanted to put them on the workbench now. That way it would be easy for me to kind of move around and manipulate. Fortunately, I bought the wrong wheels, so that's not gonna happen. I'm gonna have to move it without the wheels and get it into place. And then once I got it into place, I realized I needed to adjust the height. One of the reasons I picked this workbench is because it is adjustable in height, and my plan was to put our air compressor underneath of the workbench. So I needed to extend the height all the way up to its highest point. And since I was not gonna be able to flip that workbench over upside down on my own because it's so heavy, I chose to do this by resting it on my back. I had to get innovative by myself. I do not recommend this. I definitely recommend adjusting the height before you flip the workbench over. But once I got it into place, the air compressor fit perfectly and I was super excited by that. Another purchase that I made for the space was a new pegboard. Now, my husband had a pegboard in our old house. It was one of the cheaper fiberboard, I guess, pegboard up on the wall, and he left it there. So I needed to get him a new pegboard because I knew that it was a great way to utilize the vertical space on the wall and allow access to a lot of his everyday tools. So I decided to invest a little bit of money and purchase the wall control pegboard system. Now, the kit that I purchased, I got from Home Depot. It came with 3 panels and a whole bunch of accessories to go along with it. So I was really excited to get this hung up on the wall. I started by hanging the center panel, making sure that was lined up with the studs and level. And then from there, I worked and hung up the left side panel and then the right side panel. One of the things I really liked about this product is that you don't actually have to hang any framing or wood or anything. The panels attach directly to the wall and the width is made to fit a standard size stud. Fortunately, on this side of the wall, I had standard placement, so they were all able to go into stud, which was exciting. And then the other great thing about the wall control is that it works both with their own accessories as well as standard pegboard accessories. We had a whole bunch of that from the other house. We left the pegboard, but my husband did pack and bring with us all the accessories. So I was able to mix and match the different accessories theirs with ours to get the utilization that we would need for the space. My plan with the pegboard right now is to put up some of the accessories that I think I'm gonna be using. This way, as I'm going through boxes and unpacking, I can be putting tools away and things that we're gonna need up on the pegboard so that it's already there. After getting the pegboard hung, I was really excited to kind of check out these sconces that I had purchased. So the overhead lighting in the garage is terrible. There's basically one light, not basically, there is only one overhead light, and the workbench was going up against the wall, and I knew my husband was gonna need some lighting. Now, we also don't have a lot of electrical outlets in the garage. There's only one, so I didn't want to get a desk lamp or anything that was gonna need to plug in because there really was no way to be able to plug it in. We're very limited in electrical in this garage. If we own the house, we would rectify that, but it's only a rental, so we're working with what I have. So I decided to do the faux light, puck light sconce hack that's going all over the internet. I've seen it all over YouTube, all over TikTok, all over my Pinterest, where you're basically taking a wired sconce and you're screwing it up on the wall, but you're putting in a puck light or a remote puck light to it, and you're sort of faking the electrical. And I thought this was a really great way to get some lighting right above the workbench. I do plan on painting these sconces a matte black to go along with everything else that I have going into this garage, but since it's raining, I can't do that, so I'm gonna have to put the lights aside. After that, I started focusing all of my attention on just organizing some of the tools that are already unpacked. This huge stainless steel tool chest, I actually purchased as a gift for my husband. And when we moved down here, we kept everything in the drawers. It was just easy. It's on wheels. We were able to roll it right into the pod. But unfortunately, everything got jostled around and mixed up. So I just want to make sure and go through it and clean it out and make sure that it's nice. Again, the whole point of this garage makeover is making sure that everything is truly functional and in its right place. And then my last task for day one is to put together the Wen universal mobile base that I actually purchased. So a big part of the layout for this space is putting all of the major power tools on wheels on the left side that is going to sit in front of the pegboard. And the only way this is going to work is if we're able to move all of these big power tools around. So things like his miter saw and his table saw and things like that, we need to be able to pull them out and move them around to actually make the space really functional. And he already has a lot of stands that he has a sander box that his sander sits on that's on wheels, and his miter saw station is on wheels, and everything's on wheels except the bandsaw that I bought him for Christmas 2 years ago. Let me tell you, putting this together is worse than putting together any piece of IKEA furniture I've ever owned. Seriously, there are so many pieces, so many nuts and bolts for something so small. Now I know that it has that many pieces because it is a universal base and you can make it big and small. They tell you to measure what you're putting it on and build the base to fit those measurements. So I get that it needs to be adjustable, but oh my goodness, I couldn't believe it. I thought this was gonna be a quick 20-minute task and it turned into well over 2 hours. Of course, everything I've purchased, I will link in the description box below. A lot of it, I just waited until I was able to find it on sale. Home Depot runs sales on a lot of their stuff every few weeks. So anything I wanted to purchase from there directly, I just waited until they ran a sale on it. And I did some Google searching to make sure that it really was the lowest and the best price I could get anywhere. So definitely anything you're gonna put into a space, do some searching first. And after putting that mobile base together, that wrapped up my day one. And boy, was I tired. It doesn't look like I did a whole lot in the garage, but I did a ton. If you can remember where we started to where I'm ending the day, you can actually see a huge change already. And I'm super stoked that my layout's going to work. I still have a ton to do. I still have all the boxes to sort through and unpack. I have a new Husky tall cabinet coming in. I have a 5-drawer cabinet coming in. And then the biggest part and the whole reason this makeover is possible is hanging my massive new age wall steel shelves. And you don't want to miss me hanging those because it did not go as planned.
How are there no studs?
But we were able to make it work, and I think it actually came out better in the end. So you're definitely gonna wanna check that out on part 2. I will release that video next week. Plus in part 2, you don't wanna miss my husband's reaction. I will actually reveal the new garage makeover to him, and you don't wanna miss it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on part 2.